This is Authentically Her After 40, where we stop surviving and we start living regulated. On paper, your life looks pretty great, right? You've got a successful career, a family, a nice home. You are a high achiever. You make things happen. Boom, boom, boom. But if you're honest with yourself in those quiet moments after everyone is asleep, you're exhausted, you're resentful, and you secretly kind of hate it. You tell yourself you want to change. You fantasize about a week off where nobody needs a single thing from you. You dream of feeling rested, of having time for yourself, and not feeling this constant simmering anger towards the very people you love. And you love them a lot. And yet, every single morning you wake up and choose it all over again. You check the homework, schedule the appointments, notice the dog needs food, mediate the fight between your partner and your teenager, and you do it all because you truly believe that if you don't, everything will fall apart. What if I told you that you are not failing? That this isn't some character flaw or a personal weakness. You are not broken. You're just exhausted from carrying everything. You're following a script that was written for you in childhood, long before you ever had a say. A script that taught you your value is tied to your performance. And in this video, we're going to expose that script so you can finally start writing your own. Because there comes a time where we need to write our own script. This isn't just about being a busy mom. This is a specific pattern called overfunctioning. It's that deep-seated belief that you have to do more than your share of the work in pretty much every situation. It's the voice in your head that says, it's just faster if I do it myself. Or no one else can do it right. No one can do it like I do, right? Overfunctioning is why you're carrying the entire mental load for your family. You're not just doing the laundry, you're the one who notices the laundry needs to be done in the first place. Did anyone else notice? Or are they just ignoring it? They're choosing not to. You're the one tracking who needs new shoes, what's for dinner, 3 nights from now, not even today. You're already planning dinner for the whole week, right? When the bills are due, and how every single person in that house is feeling at any given moment. If they're sad, you're there. If they're happy, you're there. It's a full-time, invisible, unpaid job that runs 24/7 in the background of your mind. And this started in childhood. And the worst part is your self-worth has become completely tangled up in this state of constant productivity. This chronic overfunctioning leads straight to stress, anxiety, and total burnout, ladies. You might feel a surge of guilt, even panic, when you try to just sit down and do nothing. It can feel physically uncomfortable to rest. And I know all about that. There have been days where I'm done with my day at work and I'm running around the house and we have company and I can't sit. Everyone else is sitting, but I'm the one standing. Does that sound familiar? You have company over and you're the only one standing. Everyone is sitting, relaxing, and you're bouncing around. You might even feel a surge of guilt or even panic when you try to just sit down and do nothing. It can feel physically uncomfortable to rest, as if you're being lazy or selfish. That's not a habit. It's a conditioned response. Your worth has become so tied to doing that you've forgotten how to simply be. You feel responsible for everyone else's happiness, and that's a burden that leaves you feeling unseen, drained, and resentful. This is the overfunctioning trap. A cycle where the very effort you put in is the thing that's slowly destroying your own happiness. So let's talk about why it feels so impossible to stop overfunctioning. This goes so much deeper than your to-do list. This is about survival first, and this is the big one for many of us. Overfunctioning started as a childhood survival strategy. If you grew up with a parent who was emotionally immature, overwhelmed, or struggling, you likely had to take on adult responsibilities way too early. There's a name for this. It's called parentification. As a kid, you learned that to get love, to feel safe, or to just keep things from exploding into chaos, you had to be the responsible one. You became the little caregiver, the peacemaker, and the kid who was always praised for being so mature. Your brain formed a powerful unconscious equation: control equals safety. What kid needs to be so mature? Why can't a kid just be a kid, right? That pattern doesn't just vanish when you grow up, though. It follows you. You might find yourself unconsciously drawn to partners, colleagues, and friends who are underfunctioners because it's a dynamic that feels familiar to you. It reinforces your role as the capable one. And somehow you got praised for being the capable one, right? This position of the capable one is draining you. You keep taking charge, not because you're a control freak, but because on a deep primal level, your nervous system believes that if you stop managing everything, something terrible is going to happen. This leads right to the second reason: your conditioned nervous system. Your body is literally wired for this. For years, maybe decades, you've been in a state of low-grade chronic hypervigilance. That's fight or flight. Constantly scanning your environment for problems to solve and needs to be met. So when you try to slow down, your nervous system doesn't register it as rest. It screams danger. The absence of tasks and obligations can feel terrifying. This is why silence can feel so loud for someone who overfunctions, and why doing nothing can make you more anxious than having a mountain of work. Think about this. Like, as an overfunctioner, I'm going to share a little story about myself. As an overfunctioner, I was that person who would go into a room, and if it was quiet, like, I would fill it with and just talk and talk and talk and over talk and overshare, right? The beautiful thing is that as you start to heal this, as you start to make the changes, you will see the shift. You won't feel that need anymore. You will enjoy the quiet space, and you'll sit in it sometimes, even when it's uncomfortable. But as I was saying, this is why silence feels so loud, and why doing nothing can make you more anxious than having a mountain of work. The familiar pain of burnout feels safer than the terrifying unknown of letting go. You're caught in a battle where your logical mind writes endless to-do lists to feel calm, while your emotional mind is screaming from all the unprocessed stress that you've been accumulating. Yours and some that doesn't even belong to you. And people bring their expectations to us. It doesn't mean it's your job to meet them, but you've been overfunctioning for so long, you've been trying to do all that. We're constantly sold this image of the perfect mother who does it all with a smile. We're told we can have it all as long as we just work harder. This pressure basically molds modern mothers into martyrs. And we learn to see this self-sacrifice as a badge of honor, as a form of love. And it creates a culture where women feel guilty for wanting to take care of themselves, or for wanting a life beyond just serving others. So you overgive because you've been conditioned to please people. And at the end of the day, there's no energy left for you. By the time your head hits the pillow, it's lights out. And then you wake up and you don't even feel rested, and you have to do it all over again. Does any of this sound familiar? Let me know in the comments which one of those hit home the most. You'll be amazed at how many other women are in the exact same boat. If this is resonating, please consider subscribing. We have these kinds of conversations all the time here, and you don't have to go through it alone. Now I want to talk about why it's so hard to change. If you're a high achieving woman over 40, this feeling of being trapped can feel especially intense. That's not a coincidence. You are at a major crossroads. Biologically, hormonal shifts during perimenopause can actually decrease your drive to people please. You might find you suddenly have a way less tolerance for nonsense and a lower capacity for neglecting yourself. And yet, you're still bound by decades of conditioning. You are psychologically and neurologically wired to keep going even as your body and soul are screaming for you to stop. This creates an intense inner conflict. You find yourself hating the life you've built, but also being terrified to change it. You're scared that if you stop holding everything together, it will really, really fall apart. All of it. You fear the anger and the disappointment from others if you dare to start setting boundaries. Even deeper, though, is a fear of losing your identity. If you're not the doer, the fixer, or the responsible one, then who are you? Overfunctioning has been your whole job for so long that it's become your identity. And there's an unconscious loyalty to this long-suffering version of yourself, because at least she's familiar to you. Letting go of that identity can feel like a betrayal, not just of other people, but of the little girl who learned that overfunctioning was the only way to survive. So, what do? You stay stuck, choosing the life you hate because the alternative feels like stepping into a complete void. It's like stepping into a black hole. But there's hope. There is hope. You have to start rewriting the script. So how are you going to do that? What are you going to actually do about this? How do you even begin to break a pattern that's so deeply ingrained in yourself? Well, the first thing I want you to do is understand that this is a journey. Ever heard that term? It's a journey, not a destination. It's a journey. This is not about some life hack or quick fix. This is about slowly and compassionately untangling a lifetime of conditioning. The very first step is the one you're taking right now, awareness. You're seeing the script. You are recognizing that this is not a personal failure, but a survival pattern that has outlived its usefulness in your life. And that recognition alone is huge. From here, you go to the second step, because the second step is just practice pausing. I'm not asking you to book a week-long vacation. I'm asking for 60 seconds. The next time you feel that frantic urge to jump in and fix something, just stop. Take one deep breath with a long, slow exhale. This simple act starts to send a new signal to your nervous system. A moment of stillness is not a threat. This isn't about adding another to-do to your list. It's about practicing the art of not doing. You don't need a to-do list for that. And even for a moment, when you do this, it retrains your body to accept rest without guilt. You think you could do that for 60 seconds? The next time you think about jumping in to do something, just takes 1 minute to yourself, 60 seconds. And the third step is to start with one tiny boundary. Don't try to change your entire family dynamic by tomorrow. That will only overwhelm your system and trigger even more resistance. A tiny boundary is just an act of intentionally letting one small thing go. Don't remind your partner about that one task on his to-do list. Let your high schooler face the natural consequence of forgetting their gym clothes. When someone asks you for a favor, instead of your automatic yes, just try saying, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you." That buys you time to think about whether or not it's something you really want to do. Let someone else feel the discomfort of a problem for a change. You are not dropping the ball. You are gently placing it in someone else's court and most likely returning it to the rightful owner. The main thing I want you to take away today is this. You are not choosing this life of resentment and exhaustion because you are a failure or because you secretly want to be miserable. Who wants to be miserable? You're choosing it because you are following an old, outdated script that once kept you safe. And say thank you to that script. But you are not that little girl anymore. You're a grown woman with the power to choose differently. And now that you can see the script, you can begin to write a new one. You're not failing. You're not broken. Your burnout is a signal and it's real. It's not a defect. It is an invitation to finally, after all these years, put yourself back on your own list. Your best days are not behind you. They begin the moment you decide to write a new page. And share your story in the comments. You will be amazed at how many other women are going through the very same thing. And if this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe for more content on how to ditch overfunctioning and find real freedom after 40. You're not alone in this.